In 2025, hundreds of thousands of people showed up to a protest across dozens of cities on the same day, carrying the same signs with the same slogans printed in the same font. Most people saw a movement, but if you look closer, you start to see something else. An infrastructure, one that was already built before most of those people even knew they were going to march. And where this leads is not where you'd expect. Here's what most people think happens. Something makes people angry. They organize, they show up. Signs are homemade, chants are spontaneous. That's how it used to work. Today, large-scale protests are logistics operations. They require permitting across multiple cities, coordinated transportation, legal observers, media strategy, printed materials at scale, and funding, sometimes millions of dollars, weeks or months before the event date is even announced publicly. The 2025 protests were coordinated by over 500 organizations. That's not unusual. The 2017 Women's March involved over 600. The climate marches of 2019 had similar infrastructure. This isn't a left or right thing. The Tea Party rallies of 2009 had the same structure on the other side. Pre-funded, pre-organized, branded signage, bus routes planned weeks in advance. The mechanism is the same regardless of who's marching. So where does the money come from? Most large protest coalitions are funded through a structure called fiscal sponsorship. A big umbrella nonprofit, usually a 501c3 or 501c4, collects donations and distributes them to smaller organizations that may not have their own tax-exempt status. This means one donor can write one check and fund dozens of groups simultaneously. It also means the original source of the money is often several layers removed from the signs you see on the street. Some of that funding is domestic, some of it is international. And here's the part most people don't realize. There is no law requiring protest organizers to disclose where their funding comes from. Political campaigns have disclosure rules. Super PACs have disclosure rules. Nonprofit-funded protest coalitions? Almost none. So when you see identical signs in 40 cities on the same Saturday, someone paid for that. And in most cases, you'll never know who. If this is clicking for you, subscribe. We break down a new one of these every week. Now here's the piece that almost nobody talks about, and it applies to every side of the political spectrum. Congressional seats in the United States are allocated based on census population counts, not citizen counts, total population counts. That includes non-citizens, permanent residents, visa holders, undocumented immigrants, everyone. What that means in practice is that a congressional district with a large non-citizen population gets the same representation in Congress as a district where everyone can vote. People in that district who can vote end up with more political weight per person. This isn't a conspiracy, it's how the census has worked since 1790, but it creates an incentive structure that most people have never thought about. The more people in your district, regardless of citizenship status, the more power your representative holds. That's not a scandal, it's a mechanism. And once you see it, you start to understand why immigration policy is so fiercely fought over by both parties, not just as a moral issue, but as a math problem. Political scientists use a term for this, astroturfing. It's when something is designed to look like grassroots activism, but is actually funded and coordinated from the top down. The tricky part is that astroturf and grassroots aren't always separate. The people marching are usually sincere. They believe in what they're doing. The emotion is real. But the infrastructure around them, the signs, the buses, the legal teams, the media coordination, that was built by professionals, often months in advance. And this is true across the political spectrum. The left has its coalition networks. The right has its own. Americans for Prosperity, funded by the Koch network, organized Tea Party events with the same playbook. Pre-printed signs, chartered buses, media-ready spokespeople placed at every major event. The mechanism doesn't have a party, it has a budget. Here's what's worth thinking about. The next time you see a massive protest, left, right, doesn't matter, and the signs all match, and the cities are coordinated, and the media coverage starts within hours, just ask one question. When were those signs printed? because the answer tells you everything about the difference between a moment and a machine. Ever watch something and think, how did I not know that? Subscribe if you want to see more, and send this to someone who needs to see it. 5 minutes, no filler. Thanks for watching.